that. Did anybody catch the Thad Beaumont George Stark reference? Do you know what that is? One of the books that kept me from going higher was Steel Machine by Thad Beaumont, writing as George Stark. Beaumont's had a summer place in Castle Rock back in those days, not 50 miles south of our place on Dark Square Lake. Thad's dead now. Suicide. I don't know if it had anything to do with writer's block or not. So,
Damn, I don't remember that at all.
the Dark Half. George Stark is, how do you say this? George Stark is to Thad Beaumont as Bachman is to King. It's his alter ego. He writes books under an alter ego that are way different. They're like super bad and the characters are all badass and manly and all that. And then he kills them and then the alter ego gets mad and comes to life and tries to kill him. So,
Jesus.
and it had everything to do with writer's block. So he was like making a joke.
I feel like both of those names do sound familiar, but I have not read The Dark Half, so I don't know
It's a
why.
bad 80s movie with,
There's not a George Stark in The Stand, is there?
no. Yeah, what's his name? Timothy Hutton? Bad 80s movie? They're all bad 80s.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, except I would say it was bad. It was cheesy, but it wasn't bad. But Tim Curry's so amazing not to. So then we do all, yeah. So we're doing all the publishing shit. And like, I think all that was autobiographical.
I mean, half of it we've heard on the tour like 3 or 4 times by now.
The tour we could probably give. Yeah. Like the, you might want to publish it, like hurry up and finish writing so we can publish it before all the, like Tom Clancy and all of them publish their books. And, what was the one? VC Andrews. He's the VC Andrews with a prick.
Say that
Uh,
again, sorry.
the reviews said that he was VC Andrews with a prick, the character who writes in the story.
Yeah.
VC Andrews, I've never read. I didn't realize it was a woman necessarily. Flowers in the Attic. I remember the movie, and it was based on that book,
That
which was like a bunch of kids that were trapped in the attic and lived in there for like their whole lives. So she writes those kind of books.
one of the things that I have to like get better at is whenever he starts mentioning books and authors and things like that, I zone out. I'm like, yeah, I get it. You like these things.
You know, most of them I know, not all of them. Some I look up. Oh yeah, there's Ralph, I think. He just said, thanks, Ralph. But I can't tell if it's Ralph Roberts. You were the first bird to sing into the silence, Ralph. That's all.
Yeah, because he reminded him, I guess, to go to the Sarah Laughs or whatever, this long drawn out way.
Yeah. You're like, Ralph will never know. I have him to thank for it. Like, yes. Why did you just, I don't know what the hang, like, okay, so you had nothing else to fucking do. You had nothing to occupy. The dude's lonely. You've got no friends, I guess, or family, apparently. Where's his family? We haven't heard a word about that, have we? It's all her family.
There was briefly his mom and some sister, I think, came down or something like that.
Yeah, Frank was saving him from his brother or something, wasn't he? Yeah, so the guy's got nothing but time on his hands and nothing to do with it. I think there's something either he doesn't remember or we don't know yet that he doesn't want to go to this house. I mean, 4 years, right?
No, I've seen plenty of people who don't touch, like, especially if a child goes missing, they like don't set foot in that room again on true crime.
Yeah, but she didn't die there. I guess it's full of memories. I guess that's really what the problem is. He
Yeah,
just
it's
doesn't, like you
just
said, he doesn't want to face it.
exactly. And I mean, as soon as he walked in, she's everywhere. Like she was just there. That would be so hard.
Yeah, they tried to clean, they tried to clean up, her memories as much as they could, but they couldn't get everything. It was like a random sign and I don't know, they had sex under the sign or something.
I don't know how I would act. I don't know how long it would take me, or if I would just maybe send someone to do it for me and never go back. I don't know.
I, you know, I would probably just sell it and get something else
hmm
and leave that where it is.
And that's kind of what I meant earlier, where it's like, where is this going? Like, what is the point? Assuming there's going to be a haunting, like, why? What is happening? I guess because of this so-called secret life she was living.
Well, not
I know you
that simple. It's small town Stephen King. We've arrived at the town
again
and
so hard.
they're already dickheads. Well, not
Yeah.
them. There's one super dickhead. So I guess we know who our antagonist is going to be.
Mhm.
I want the balls on that guy. Call him up and tell him, hey, You're lying. I'm like, yeah, fuck you, buddy. You don't get to tell me that shit.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he's used to being in charge. Like, I don't even think it was like, first of all, he called him. Why did he call him? To like thank him or just to see if his granddaughter or daughter, I can't remember, I guess his
Probably to
daughter.
use him against her to prove, because it sounded like, what did he say? She often gets lost or something, or she's often gets confused or something. Like, I think, and if,
Yeah,
yeah, I
like
mean,
it almost feels like he called just to be like, see, I knew you were lying like to his daughter. That's his daughter, right? Or his
yeah,
granddaughter, I don't know.
daughter-in-law,
Daughter-in-law, right. Okay,
the worst that it could be.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, think about what, Mike was saying. Like, so this guy's her father-in-law. His son died. They were married. They have a baby. She lives in a rundown trailer home with an old car. So clearly they're not getting along.
Yeah.
So and if you read the forward, he talks about he had to look up and get help with child custody laws in Maine. So I'm like, oh, so I think I know where that part's going at least. Is that there's some kind of custody battle either going on or about to go.
Well, that would make sense. So maybe he really, in his own weird way, is just concerned and was calling to be like,
Oh, I think
was
he
she
wanted him to back him up and then he could use them against her, like in court or
in
something.
court? Okay, yeah. Which, I mean, not for nothing. Like, I don't know if I'm against that. If she's letting this kid go off on her own.
I mean, if that's a regular occurrence, what happened? I mean, he's not necessarily wrong, but the fucking dickhead way he went about it, Jesus. I instantly hate you just out of general principle. You don't call me up and tell me what to do. I don't even know who you are. I like how he compares like I'm rich, but I'm not Max DeVore rich. I'm like an ant in the bucket compared to that guy, or
Like,
levels of a millionaire.
I definitely agree. I'm not going to be on the side of a guy who thinks that he can use his money to get out of any situation. But I also don't know if I'm going to be on the side of someone who lies. Again, we need more context. Don't just because you're angry, it's still whatever is in the best interest of the child. So you like don't lie for her sake because he made you angry. He's like, no, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. And I'm like, look, I got it. It's a Stephen King story. I'm sure whatever, it's fine. But in real life, that happens a lot. So
Wouldn't say, yeah, I don't know if I would lie. I wouldn't lie, but I don't. It feels like taking sides, and I don't know that I'd be ready to do that. So I would just
the
say, hey,
side
that's none of your business, or something.
the side
You
is
know,
whatever is in the best interest of the child. So he's taking the mom's side by not saying anything. And again, I know I'm probably like getting ahead of myself because there's only one
yeah, but
interaction.
yeah, who knows what the best interest of the child is at this point?
Not to be walking on the side of the road by themselves.
I mean, kids are a handful. We got to put a goddamn padlock on the top of the door for you. You have to sneak out in the 6 in the morning, naked. You take your like pajamas off and run outside. Like I'm free. So yeah, I don't think we know enough to decide any of that. But yeah, I hope he's not taking her side because he seems kind of enamored with her. This
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
brushing her breast travesty.
This whole story, like Stephen King, doesn't shy away from sexual things whenever he wants, but this story is overtly sexual too. I'm like, can you relax? Like, you're so horny the whole time.
He's probably doing a lot of coke when he wrote this.
I'm sure.
We said that about everything. Well, and it was the 90s, so I think he was still in.
But like
Well,
other
actually, I
drugs,
don't think he was because that YouTube thing I sent you was he talks about how he was drinking all the time and he doesn't anymore. It was
I
actually
maybe
fascinating.
I can get. Well, I do want to. I am curious. I'm always curious to hear what he has to say, and maybe I can give him the benefit of the doubt because it is like a grieving husband, and maybe I don't know, but like we spend a lot of time in other male protagonist heads, and they're not. It's not always like it's not so much
Well,
sex involved.
I mean, I don't have dead exes. Well, maybe I do. I'm not sure, but not because of me or not during me. That sounded bad.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But like when like say a relationship's over and me personally, like I'm remembering maybe the relationship and don't necessarily remember specifically the sex parts. Like that's not the part that comes to the forefront. Maybe that's just me. So I know I mean, it's kind of part of it, but not like specific the way he's being, I guess.
I don't even think there's anything wrong with it, but like we have a podcast analyzing Stephen King. This
Right.
is abnormal for the amount of sexual talk. I don't know. I guess it's not. Maybe we just haven't read one in a while because, like, I remember growing up that, like, I felt like him and Family Guy were what taught me about sex. But
Family Guy. Yeah, I mean, he's always been a little over the top sometimes, I guess I would say. Maybe unnecessary. This book, it's Stephen King in his prime. So,
yeah,
and it's kind of, not well known compared to some of the other ones. And then again, is a bad movie from the 90s.
I guess I wouldn't even know if I would say it's over the top. It's just, it's, I don't know. Again, so far in the, for me, 120 pages that I've read, I feel like he has mentioned something about being horny like every 5 pages.
She's like, "Oh, there's a penis between us." Would you really say that? Because I've
Yeah.
never said that. Michelle's never said that. Nobody says that.
I mean, I wouldn't say that because I don't know, like, I wouldn't use
Right.
the word penis.
So, right, 67 minutes. So I'll have to remember that. In case I cut it out. Yeah, I mean, nobody calls it the official word, I guess is the way I would say that. In a relationship. Anyway,
I think about like
he's,
the Notebook and like, oh, it's not like they don't reminisce about sex too. So I'm like, maybe he's just not used to it because it's again a grieving husband.
yeah, maybe we're just overanalyzing shit because we need something to talk about.
Because that's what we do on this podcast.
Yeah. Uh, I do remember like when I was reading Stephen King books when I was a kid, like I don't know if he taught me about sex. It was kind of the first, I guess, when I moved out of the young adult Hardy Boys, realm into adult books. And I was like, oh, okay, this is different. So yeah, like, you know what? He might have taught me about sex too. It's a generational thing.
Well, because I can't think of even what book I mean, because it's definitely not it. For sure, not the good example. But like I remember there was a few of them that I read very early
Yeah, don't
on.
follow that example.
There's a few of them that I read very early on where it was like, oh, that's what the word bosom means. Oh, that's what they're talking about. Like, oh,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I know what you mean, and I can't think of what book that is. Or there's a couple of
yeah,
different ones. Night Shift, not Night Shift. Shining? That doesn't feel right.
could be Shining, but I feel like all they ever do, like Wendy's just afraid the whole time, so probably not.
Well, that's the movie, not the book.
I don't remember the book yet.
Have you
Anyway,
read the book? Have you read the Shining?
I've read it, but that was that. It could be The Shining because that was one of the ones that I read very early on. I don't really remember.
Because yeah, you know what? Shining was one of them because the dead lady's naked and he's like feeling
Yes,
her,
yes,
boobs, and then
yeah.
she turns into a like decaying old thing while he's doing it. And so it was like, and ooh, at the same time. Like only Stephen King would make decaying boobs is one of my first times reading about. Yeah, anyway,
Anyway.
he's never, it feels like more than necessary, but I guess he's always in his prime had a little tangents that he went off on.
Well, yeah. Again, we can move on, but like I'm not saying I have a problem with it because it's like it's fine. It's just one of those things that I noticed so far in the story specifically.
Yeah, I noticed it too. And like you said, I didn't know if I was just we haven't had this in a while, or if
Yeah.
it's more than normal. I forgot where I left off.
I will say, even if he doesn't have his own family, I'm very happy for Frank and him being one of the boys, essentially. What are they? The Arlens?
Yeah, he seemed happiest when what did he say? That was something holidays, that was the best holiday I had in a while.
Yeah.
And
I can
why are
relate to
people
that.
writing on the poll, fuck the Eagles? What the hell? Go Birds.
Wait, how did I miss that?
I don't know. It says the sign which reads TR90 and the one reading Game Warden is best assistance in emergency dial blah 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 or *72 on your phone. In spray paint, someone had added fuck the Eagles. I have no idea if that's a sports thing or not, but
I mean, it would have to be, right? But in Maine, whatever. Yeah, never mind.
They're
I don't
not
even
really
feel like,
rivals.
yeah.
Yeah, probably has nothing to do with it. So Sarah Laughs is named after Sarah Tidwell as well, and her curious tribe. I'm not sure what that means. Does that mean she had a lot of kids?
Why does that name sound so familiar too?
Uh,
What? Wait, what's Carola?
that's wait. What was Carol last?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. You ready? Wait. Where it
Did you
goes?
look up
Where does it go?
Robin?
This house is the twinner of Carol Laughs, the house on Turtleback Lane that was the center of the walk-in activity. Mike
My
Noonan
God.
is also the twinner of Stephen King, both being writers who own a summer house named Sarah Cara Laughs. The number
Okay.
19 is used various times.
Well, at least we were on the nose with it being him. Like that was pretty obvious.
So you guys don't know what twinners are because you haven't read, God, Talisman. Oh, which is the one I forgot when I said the books I wanted to read. So after Needful Things, if it was up to me, it would be Talisman.
No, but I can use context clues.
So yeah, like a Talisman, he travels to another world to try to save his mom, and the other world has copies of the people who like there's a Stephen King in the other world, but he's a completely different person. He's Mike Noonan, that kind of thing. But some people are exist only as one person in both worlds. So your twinner is the other version of you in that world.
Can you both be in the same world together? I shouldn't be asking questions like that.
No, because when you travel between worlds, you become the other one. And I don't remember how the
Mm.
consciousness part works. If it was like the same, I don't think that was. I think depending on who it was.
Wow, that was such a good call, Allie. I would never have put that together.
I forgot about that. A lot of people laughing in those houses up there.
All right, my first thought was like that was not his name. Can't remember
What?
his name. The laughing guy. Starts with a D, right?
Oh, Dandelion.
Dandelo, thank you.
I was like, oh wait, how do we get on Dandelion? Or the laughing guy?
Sorry, I was just saying, yeah, like when she said Carol last, I was like, that's not Dandelo, so go on.
I didn't. Yeah, that was a good one because I did not. That's was that retrofitted? It might have been. Although it is the
Well,
same.
well,
Wait,
it had
so
to,
Kara Laughs is in what?
it's not retrofitted, it's inspired by.
Well, he wrote this first,
Right. So
so
Carol
then
Laughs is inspired by Sarah Laughs.
yeah, did he do it on purpose, or is everything up there named Laugh?
It has to be on purpose if they're like, if Michael Noonan is a twin version of Stephen King. Like,
Well, that's what I mean by retrofitted. Did they do that after
I
the
don't
fact?
know. You were the one saying it's from the Talisman.
Yeah. Well, now we definitely got to read that, and that has a part two. And because he does nothing normal, this part two is, of course, 30 years later, just like all part two.
I mean, that's fine. Again, we get so much, so many other people don't get. Like, look at people who are, oh my God, not Lord of the Rings.
Game of
Jesus.
Thrones.
Thank you. Yes. Game of
I knew
Thrones
who you.
fans.
Wasn't hard to figure out where you're going with that. I mean, it's kind of. I understand that he doesn't owe anybody anything, but it's kind of dickish.
Well, my point was just that look at how or I am very thankful that he is constantly pumping things out.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't. Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't like, oh my God, George Martin's the best author in the world, and then I read all four of his books 80 times.
Has he only, not only, how many has he published for?
Five Game of Thrones books, and I think he has some other lesser known series possibly, and maybe a spin-off book here or there. But
Again,
like
I
the
can't,
main Game of Thrones is five books. And it
I,
says at the end of the fifth one, the next part six, blah, 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 coming soon. And that was like 10 years ago.
well, soon is relative.
I guess it does leave it open for interpretation.
I just have to not compare anyone else to Stephen King because it's like, you just don't. No one does.
And like, he's, I mean, obviously I have a biased opinion, but he's more than once in generational. Like he's once in a century kind of writer. If ever. I don't know if there's ever been anyone that writes.
Well, like you were saying, again, we'll get back to the story soon, but like you were saying earlier, the influence that he has just on pop culture, on society, on literature, on everything, like he touches, like he has an influence on everything in today's world, it feels like.
And yeah, when he came up, because he didn't. I don't know, write seriously, whatever that means. Like no one thought he was a good writer because he was writing
Well, he got
pop culture
rejected.
stuff.
He got rejected a lot too at the
No, I
beginning.
mean even after that, like he's $1 million selling
Oh
author or a
yeah.
million book selling author, and they're like, he's just a hack. He writes hard about vampires for Christ's sake. No, did you read it?
Well, I mean, I can't speak because I wasn't alive then, but I know that horror was not nearly respected. I don't think the way it is today.
No, it's not the industry it is today. Like I was the only one on the fucking city, much less the block, that knew about horror movies.
It's
Now it's like all the cool kids are doing it.
like you like Marvel or you like horror.
Yeah, Marvel. Well, no, I don't like DC.
That was a joke.
Marvel, DC. I'm going Marvel.
Wait, you don't like? Yeah, so you like? Well, okay, fair. That's not what I meant, but I meant giant fandoms.
Yeah, don't make me pick between Marvel and horror. That's a tough one. Spider-Man or Stephen King. I don't know.
You
There's a
don't?
lot.
I'm sorry,
Uh,
but I do.
no, I mean, I know what I would do. They have both been.
And I love Spider-Man, but I can't. I mean, Stephen King is my god.
I would say the difference is Stephen King is still an influence. Where Spider-Man, I left behind around 12 years old. I still watch the movies when they come out, though. That's why I couldn't do all the goddamn Marvel universe because I just wanted to see the Spider-Man ones. First, I gotta watch two Captain Americas, then I gotta watch this one, then I gotta watch that one. I didn't want to do all that, so I just went straight to Spider-Man and got out. What was
You,
it
I
coming
mean,
coming
did you
home?
watch
Wait,
No Way? I think it was No Way Home was with all three of them in it. I was gonna say, did you watch the like Avengers with Spider-Man in it?
parts. Couldn't care less about him. He wasn't in it enough. He was kind
Whatever.
in it, but he wasn't in it enough.
Well, yeah, yeah. Infinity War and Endgame, I think was, or you're right. I don't even know what the order is, but that's why I asked if you watched them because he is a big part in the last series.
think I may have watched that because I heard about it, but just that
Now,
part.
if you don't like Tom Holland, then I can't help you. But I like him more than Andrew Garfield.
Okay, you picked the worst one first of all, so that's not hard to do. Wait, no offense. I forgot we were talking to people. He is my least favorite, and I think everybody's least favorite.
Andrew Garfield.
Uh, yeah,
I didn't know that was the
I like.
consensus. Yeah.
I was a big Tobey Maguire fan. I liked him. But I do like Tom Holland. He seems out of all of them, and Tobey Maguire would be the closest. He seems more like a 17-year-old kid than anybody.
Yes, I was gonna say, Ali, what were you gonna say? Because I'm curious what your opinion is. Well, yeah, I mean, we don't. The third one is a meme at this point, but I
I
do.
definitely would agree with that. Yeah.
Like I was 11, I think, when I saw the first Spider-Man in the theater, like on New Year's Eve, and it was like probably my first superhero comic book movie. And like I was waiting to get bitten because I was like, "Oh my God, this is it! I'm gonna be a superhero too." So that movie holds a very special place in my heart. But
See,
like I just rewatched it, and it is cheesy as hell.
like that's my kind of Aunt May, not this Sally Field or the new one that's trying to be sexy.
Again, it's like I love Tim Curry's Pennywise, and I love Skarsgård's Pennywise. They're very different, and I think they both do different. Again, you have to watch the other movies that Tom Holland is in because I kind of agree. Except for nostalgia's sake, I think Tom Holland is the best.
I like him. I don't like. Wait, so is it Tom? Yeah, where it's the suit that Iron Man built. I don't like that angle.
Yeah, but I thought you wanted him to be part of the Avengers, man. What do you mean?
I don't want him to be part of the Avengers. I don't give a shit. I'd rather he
Well,
stayed by
Marvel, you
himself.
want him to be part of Marvel more, and so like ends up, like him and Doctor
No, no,
Strange
no,
take
no.
him on.
I wanted him to be in the movie more because they told me he was in it, and I watched it, and there wasn't enough Spider-Man in it. And all this Iron Man shit. Can't stand Iron Poser because he's like Batman. He's just a rich nerd.
Poser. Oh, we're gonna pretend that rich doesn't get you whatever you want in this world.
No,
That
not
is the
today.
best
I'm not going to say
superpower.
that. Today of all days, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, I do
It's
agree with
true.
that.
Batman put
Batman
in the
can
work.
actually fight. Yeah.
Oh, he's so rich, he had nothing else to do. Nobody would talk to him except for what's her name? Vicky. Wait, is that right?
Talking about Batman or Iron Man?
Yeah, Batman.
Alfred? I don't know.
No, it's a girl's name. The girl's name. I can't remember her name. Yeah, she's definitely not named after
Mm.
Vicky Vale, something like that. I'm probably pissing somebody off right now.
All I can remember is Rachel from The Dark Knight. I don't remember the other people from the comic books.
My, when they blew up,
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah.
when they blew up the stadium in Dark Knight.
I know what you're about to say. Go on, yeah. I know what you're about to say because I know this fact, but go on, share.
Oh, did I already say it?
No, I mean, maybe we've talked about it, but I know this fact.
Michelle was there. She got tickets. So she was in the stadium when they blew it up in the movie. She was part of the crowd.
Yeah. They had like, well, yeah, basically they had all the people from the city coming.
Yeah, it was like, casting, adding a newspaper or whatever it was for extras. Non-paid. I guess you don't get credit. I guess you don't get paid if you don't make the credit.
I mean, you don't have to pay me if I got to be like even on the set of that movie.
See, that's what they're counting on. Anyway, I heard there's a book that
Yeah.
we're supposed to be talking about.
Well, we got this might be the most off track we've ever been.
Went down to Spider-Man. Hole. See, you start comparing Spider-Man and Stephen King. You never know where you're gonna end up. If he would just write Spider-Man, that would be just great.
I mean, tech like even Marvel doesn't own Spider-Man. Sony won't give that up, so good luck.
What's the wait? You say they don't own Spider-Man?
Yeah, we've already been on such a tangent, but like it's one of those complicated legal things where it's like Sony technically has the rights and they like allow, I guess, Marvel to use it, but like they're still the licensor.
Oh, like Stanley's kid has the rights in a safe or something.
Sure. Like Sony PlayStation, Sony. I don't feel like getting we can talk about this on our personal time.
Okay. Um. So, I don't remember the dream exactly that Mike was having.
Well, he was no, I remember because he was saying he got Walker's block. Because he writer's walk. Thank you. I had the opposite.
Writer's walk, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like
Do you remember what the
he
dream
would
was?
go.
I don't really.
So he basically would pull up to the drive, or he would be no, he wasn't driving. In the dream, he was always walking. So he would walk. He would be like at the top of the driveway, and then want to walk into the house and not be able to until finally he was, and then that's when he had the actual nightmare where the thing jumped out at him.
Right. Shrouded thing or whatever it was.
Hmm.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, wow, I forgot about that. Right, he can hear something coming up behind him. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why you'd want to go fucking relive that or make it come true.
Or do it by yourself. That's what I'm saying. Bring anyone with you. Bring Ralph. He's still
Yeah.
alive right now.
But right. Bring Frank. What are you doing, Frank? I'll pay you to come out here. What's the book that Manderley and
You're
Mrs. Danvers
asking
and all that
the
shit?
wrong
I
person. I told you I blocked that all
yeah.
out.
I didn't bother to look that up, but I kind of want to know because I feel like I should.
Every time you kept saying that, I was thinking Seinfeld.
Maybe that old devil writer's walk has got hold of me again, and I'll just stand here like a statue until someone comes along and hold me. Yeah, writer's walk. That's hard to just say.
Now, it very much feels like sleep paralysis, like where there's a thing breathing behind you and you can't move. Although usually I think with sleep paralysis, you're kind of like aware that you're, well, no, maybe I don't remember if you're aware that you're dreaming or not. I guess not, or it wouldn't be so
I had
scary.
it once. I was aware that I was dreaming, and I couldn't. I was actually at work. Fell asleep at work. I was the only one there. I was like man in the office, just waiting until like 5 o'clock so I could leave, and I fell asleep. Like I was aware that I was asleep, and I kept trying to wake myself up, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't move. It was almost like uh, I was looking at myself. I was
Did
like, get
you,
up, get up.
I mean, that for some reason I've done a lot of research into sleep paralysis. So that is the common symptoms is like you can see yourself, you can't move. Did you feel like there was something menacing that was coming up on you or no?
Far away. It hadn't gotten close yet. There was
Because
something coming, something vague. I wasn't sure exactly what, but I knew I didn't want
well,
to find out, but I didn't know why.
that's why people you get the sense of like you need to get up, you need to wake up now, you need to move because like it's like people report, hearing breathing or hearing like hoof beats or smelling something or like just sensing something. To be honest, not that I'm always open to believing in the supernatural, but the psychology of it makes sense. It's because we're all, if we have those fears, of course, those are going to be the things. It's something to do with the state of like the state that your brain is in that state of sleep. It's like an R8, like a REM thing, kind of.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I can see that. Like you're just starting to dream and then you kind of come back a little bit, maybe.
Well, because I was like, why
Yeah. I
does
mean,
everybody feel the same thing if it's not real? And they're like, because people have the same fears. So, like, of course, we're gonna have those same experiences.
it feels like a newer phenomenon. Like I don't remember hearing about sleep paralysis when I was like a kid. Maybe just didn't know what it was. It
I
wasn't,
mean,
didn't have a
how were
name.
you like? Were you talking about it at the playground? Like, how would you have heard about it?
Excuse me. I was reading Stephen King when I was like 12.
I know my
So
point
yes,
was
I was probably
there
talking
was
about it at the
no
playground.
but there was no internet or no social media, no Reddit to go and post these experiences on. Like it was a lot harder for everyone to know that we were all feeling these things.
To a point. I mean, yeah, obviously, but it doesn't mean you didn't talk to people about stuff.
No, I think nobody ever talked before the internet. That's my stance. Just kidding.
I mean, they talk even less now. So,
Anyway, I feel like
you
we
know,
really
at
should.
least everybody knows how to type now, right? Everybody can spell.
Why?
Uh,
No, well, no, that's not true at all. A lot of people can't spell, but like, if anything, I always hear the opposite, where it's like nobody knows how to write. If we ever lose computers, we're not gonna be able to communicate.
well, that's true. It's a specific kind of writing that they know how to do. They couldn't pull out a notebook, I guess, writing pen and ink.
hmm
Yeah,
Even
cursive.
even I.
I had to learn cursive.
Well, yeah, they don't teach that. And I mean, at least the last time that I knew a person who was in school, they didn't teach it to them. But um, I was gonna say, even I, like, I used to write a lot all the time, and now, like, when I write notes for the podcast, like, it doesn't take much. Where I'm like, man, this is exhausting. Like, handwriting things down on paper.
It's like, damn, my hand hurts. That little place where the pen sits next to my finger and it has that indent, like
Yeah,
it starts to get sore.
I have carpal tunnel from all my typing.
Where's Google at? Voice type it. Yeah. What? Oh, welcome. Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, I do it the
I don't always
hardest way.
annotate. Yeah, I just hope that I remember why I highlighted it because half the time I'm at the gym and I don't feel like trying to actually write stuff while I'm working out.
No,
But I can
I
highlight like a champ.
carry my notebook. I write down the page number. I write down the whole quote if I have to. That's not why I'm like, oh, I hate this.
See, that's why your hand hurts.
Yeah,
Does anybody remember the Felix the Cat clock with the big eyes? I remember that.
for sure. I remember that. As soon as you said that,
I didn't know how far back that went. Yeah. Wait, what? Just said.
as soon as Stephen King said that in the book, and he was like, I'm sure it was
Oh,
in every cheap horror movie or something like that.
it's in every '70s kitchen, I think, too.
We actually, well, I was gonna say we don't have that
Oh, there
version.
it is.
We have, but we do have a ticking cat clock. I think that is inspired by that clock. But I can't stand the
Do the
ticking
eyes
if
go
I
back
took
and
the
forth? I think that,
batteries out
like the
of. No,
tail wagged, I
it
think, and the
doesn't
eyes went
move.
back and forth.
I am not like what. Why do I keep forgetting his name? I am not like our guy, where I can't handle
Jesus.
that. Say it again. I cannot handle that ticking sound in silence. I feel like Captain Hook. I'm like, I took out the batteries immediately. I'm like, nope, not doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I had one as a kid. I mean, not that, but a ticking one. You get used to it, but I still don't like it. I don't want to get used to it,
No, it's just it just becomes a metronome to me. So like now I'm like gonna have a song in my head or something. I can't do it.
right? Be writing songs in my sleep. I had a Jesus, not a clock, but it's a picture in my bedroom where the eyes follow you all around the room. I had to turn that thing and face the wall. Couldn't do it. It's
Oh man,
really cool how they do that.
after I read Night of the Living Dummy, my American Girl doll no longer slept in the same room as me.
New Goosebumps movie. You seen that?
Is it a movie or is it the continuation of the show?
Oh, is that what it is?
Is it the
The
one
one
with
with
Justin
David
Long?
Schwimmer? No, The Long Night or something? No, wait,
There's
that's
a
an old
different
one, isn't
one.
it?
I don't know. Whatever. I haven't seen it now.
Looks pretty good. What seemed germane was that coming here had been a dangerous idea and a stupid course of action for a man who has taught his mind to misbehave. That's the part I was talking.
Yes, but you're right, and that's what I'm saying. Why would you do this? What is wrong with you? Like you're trying. Like here's the thing. I agree with him too. Like if you have an imaginative mind, like yeah, maybe you are gonna start hearing and seeing these things just because that's how the mind works.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, yeah. And he's standing there with a flashlight. And why aren't the lights on? You turn them fucking things on. That's the first thing you got to do. Cause I would, yeah. I mean, yeah. I picture, the way we showed up at the cabin and at midnight in the dark. And first thing I was doing was looking for a goddamn light switch.
Well, Yeah, imagine how I felt where I had no idea even what the landscape looked like. So all I can hear is this ominous body of water and I see nothing. And I'm like, where's the house? Where's the water? Like, am I gonna step overboard?
And it's so, it looks like we're going to drive right off the road into
Yeah.
the lake. Yeah, well, he's asking for trouble. So then he meets Maddie. Yeah, most of this is just, so we just, this first 150-ish pages, we just had to get him here. So now he's here.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I didn't really think about it like that. I guess that was kind of what I was wondering. I was like, what are we doing? But now it makes sense. Yeah. We just got to get to the setting.
I mean, we had to like feel his pain for a little while to see where he's at, I guess.
But I will say, I mean, maybe it's just because there's not many books we've read lately that I haven't read already, but like, I still have no idea where he's going with this.
Yeah. And you know, I finished this like 2 days ago and I wanted to keep going. I was kind of upset that I had to stop. Uh, I haven't had that in a little while. Buick, that book was, I liked the book. It just seemed like that one and Tommyknockers, like I was reading them all the time and not getting anywhere. This one's like starting to move. I'm like, okay, like it takes a while to build up, but now it's like, I feel like it's starting to kick into gear.
I mean, for what it's worth, it not like I'm sure there's parts that could have been left out, but nothing's like for sure. It has not felt slow to me at all, like Tommy Knockers did, or at first, or anything
No,
like
I
that.
mean, like not a lot's happened, but he's right, he's writing it in a way that it's not boring.
I mean, I guess I'm actually kind of like being a hypocrite against what I said or contradicting myself. There we go. Except for in the sense of like I'm getting annoyed by all these like hints that he keeps dropping. I'm like, come on, now can we just get to it?
Hmm.
But otherwise, I've not been like the pace has been really good for me.
And the kid almost has his unborn daughter's name. I don't know if that means anything.
I mean, again, there's no such thing as a coincidence in Stephen King's world, right?
Right. How about some of Buddy Jellison's jokes?
It reminds me of like what you'd see like in the general store or something.
The character is so believable. Like I could see him.
Hmm.
Why did God give seagulls wings so they could beat the Frenchmen to the dump? Do we not like Frenchmen in that?
God damn. Oh my God, Dad, there was a part too where he was like, I'm gonna call it like I see it. She's trailer trash. I know it sounds harsh, but hear me out. I'm like, dude, no, that just sounds harsh.
That whole scene when he was judging her is like, oh, go figure. She lived in a trailer. See? Like,
Yeah.
dude, you're a dick.
And then he was like, no, I'm Irish. It's fine. I'm like, it's really not, because so am I.
Yeah, no, you're an asshole. Like he was like,
Yeah.
well, not. And then he starts to roll it back. He's like, I felt like an ass for prejudging her, but then he did it again right after that.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
like
like,
maybe
dude,
again, it's like stream of consciousness, I guess, but like also like just I don't know. That really like threw me. I was listening to that part on the audiobook. So and he's like, I'm just gonna say it. She's trailer trash. I was like, ouch. Yeah. And then again, he doubled down, being like, I know that sounds mean, but it's true.
yeah, is it mean if it's true? Well, yeah. Uh, yeah, I was like, whoa, I kind of don't like you right now.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe he was
I
just trying to tell himself that he wasn't interested in her, because I think he clearly was.
think there's a lot of like, we have thoughts. I don't want everybody to be able to hear my inner thoughts sometimes. So if that was an intrusive thought, then like whatever. But it just came off so hard.
Well, it came up a couple times. Like he kept going back to it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, see, she lives in a trailer. I fucking told you. Like, wait, I thought you were
I
sorry for
knew
saying
I could smell it on you.
that. I no longer felt like Chester the Molester. Now I felt like a cool auctioneer in a Disney cartoon, offering the cutest little piglet in a litter to the highest bidder.
I
Oh, that's when he's
also,
holding the baby up.
yeah, trying to save her from
He's right
falling.
though. And this is 20 some years ago, but like an old guy with a young girl, there's anybody who sees that instantly suspicious.
Trust me, I had that thought too, where I was like, God, that's gotta suck when you're like, I want to help you, but like, don't touch me. Stay there. Hold on.
Well, especially if you're famous, like you
Yeah.
really like, oh, hey, call the cops. Yeah, there's a little kid on the road. You might want to do something about that. I'll be at the diner.
The great Dr. Phil used to say, you have to avoid even the appearance of impropriety.
Right. Yeah, that comes from Dr.
I don't know if it's him originally, but he used to say that all the time.
Yeah, that's sounds like a courtroom. The appearance of impropriety. It sounds like my dad. feel like
Well, because
he's
it's like it's not just about avoiding doing bad things. You have to realize perspective is everything.
and avoid the situation that would put you in that
Uh-huh.
position.
Right.
That's what I say. Avoid the entire situation. So, um, yeah. So we meet Max DeVore. He's super rich, and hold on, I'm trying to get to that conversation. That's really all we got left to talk about. Yeah, there was a car, an old Jeep. That's more like it. Satisfaction. Um, he is definitely lying for her.
Well, right. Again, I'm not saying he's in the wrong, but I'm saying you're taking her side because you're angry, but you're not thinking about the child.
Well, at that point, the old man is forcing him to take a side where he didn't have to up to then. So if you're forcing me into a
I mean,
situation, you're probably not going to be the winner.
look, yeah, trust me, I'm not saying I can always react perfectly when my emotions get the hold of me, but you could have just hung up. You didn't have to say anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, and eventually he did that, but he should have done, yeah, that's what I said. I wouldn't have told him anything and just fucking hung up the phone, be like, sorry about your luck. So I guess we know
I
where
just
this
have
is.
I have an issue with
Yeah.
somebody who immediately, again, and also feels like because he's interested in her, he's like, no, no, she wasn't doing anything wrong. And it's like, okay, but what if she was abusing that child? Like,
Well, okay, well, this guy's not law enforcement. He's just
I don't
a
think he
fucking
is. I'm saying think about the best interest of that child either way.
I'm saying if the cop asked me that, sure. This guy, I don't know. I'm not. I don't give away information to people I don't know. I don't know what the right answer there is. I honestly, I'm not sure what I would have.
Again,
I mean, obviously, I
Stephen,
would have stopped. There's no way you can't stop if you see a fucking toddler walking down the street.
yeah, I don't think
Beyond that,
that's what he's implying at all, but I'm just saying from true crime, from, I have a degree in criminology, so from the schooling that I've been to says that
as a criminologist,
that is not in the best interest of the child in that moment.
should not. So, but
I said that is not in the best interest in the child necessarily in that moment because you're just covering for her because you feel bad for her. But like you don't know her. What if she's actually abusing that child?
what if she's not, and he's just being a dick?
Of
My
course.
my
And
whole
I'm
point is you don't
sure,
know either way.
but you have to, okay, whatever. I'm not saying it again. That's why I'm
I think you're
saying,
taking Max DeVore's
regardless,
side on this one.
you have to look out for the best interest of the child either way. That is my point. Because you don't know, you can't assume she's a good person.
You can't assume he's a good person.
I didn't say that.
Well, why? Are you
You
saying you should
can't.
answer his question?
No, he could have just hung up right away, but he doesn't need to lie for her sake because he's interested in her. Like
No. Well, yeah, agreed.
that child could have died because of her negligence.
And maybe it was a one-off, and he's just. I just think you don't know enough to get involved in any of that. And like, yeah, I wouldn't have said anything to that guy. Like, who the fuck are you? By
Yeah, I'm
don't
not. I,
presume to tell me anything.
but that is my point. He lied. He already took a side now by lying for her.
Well, the guy made him pick a side. Is all
You
I can
just
say.
said he could have said nothing.
He could have, but yes, and he should have.
Right. So he has already taken a side, and that's my point. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I don't know what the right thing to do there. I mean, I know what the right thing to do is, but he didn't do it. So, like, yeah. Uh, I think you're probably right. And whether he'll admit it or not, he probably took her side because she's cute.
hmm
And
And
yeah,
Stephen King doesn't ever go in the direction of like serial killers or whatever. So I don't like again, I don't think at all that's what's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be fine. But I'm just saying in real life, that was not the best decision. But we can move on.
no, in real life, he should have been on the phone with fucking cops before Maddie ever got to it.
Exactly.
Like, he should have pulled over, put the kid in the car and called the cops right away.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's too serious.
Like I said, kid's gonna be fine, I'm sure. Well, or not, but it's not gonna be because of true crime problems.
Hey, she's not going to get run over in the road, assuming. Hope not, anyway. Yeah, if it happens again, then okay, then we got it. So I'm thinking, how many chapters are? Ooh, I mean, not the audio book, the Kindle book I got has all this shit at the end of it. Stephen King talks about ghost secrets and being alive. Well, there you go. I guess this is a ghost book.
What? Where are the commas in that sentence?
Ghosts, comma, secrets, comma, and being
Okay,
alive.
that's what I was like. Ghost secrets, or
You can remove the comma between ghosts and secrets, right? Ghost secret.
well, that changes it. That's my point. What are ghost secrets?
I mean, I'm just saying. You like it darker, teaser? Well, yeah. Yeah, so the epilogue is seven, so 30 chapters in the epilogue. So I'm thinking chapter 14, which puts us at 330 on the Kindle. I don't know where you're at. Right, but stop at 15.
Reading hardback, so my pages are big. So stop at what?
So from chapter 9 to chapter 14,
So up to
including chapter 14.
including chapter 14.
Yes.
Stop at
And then I
15.
think, so that puts us at 330 and then, yeah, stop at 15. And then, four, nine, six. Damn, it gets long. Just keeps going.
Chapter?
Well, we'll worry about that when the time comes. So yeah, let's read up to 14, including 14.
That's right. I
Anything
mean,
else?
yeah, that works for me.
I think we
But
actually managed to talk about the book for a little bit.
how is it though when we read the books that like we barely have any information? Well, maybe that's why they're not the ones we love as much. We get distracted very easily.
Well, yeah, because you don't know anything about it. This is one of those ones that you don't really hear about, like a Buick 8, nobody knows about them. Well, I'm not gonna say nobody knows about them, but they're not the carries and the its and the stuff
Well, when people think haunted car, they think Christine too. So
on a car.
Stephen King and haunted car, I think most people know of Christine before they would know it from a Buick 8.
Just, yeah,
Whatever. I know
it's
I
very
don't even want
common.
to get into that, but yeah, you know what I mean. I know.
Yeah. So, yeah, watch that, thing. I thought it was awesome.
So are we good
We
on
good?
weekend? That Sunday, Groundhog Day?
The day. Uh, yeah, is that what it is? It's like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm good on that Sunday, I think, so far.
wait, when's the Super Bowl? If the Eagles win this weekend, I got a Super Bowl date. Well, that would be 3 weeks. So that would be actually, what's that? Okay. That's the off week. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I'm
Cool, me too.
all right. End of the podcast. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye.